echo coming, or am I audible?
Hear you clearly, Professor.
I'm
No
clear.
echo,
Perfect. Okay, that helps.
at least on my end.
My hope is, let me just do one more thing. Is that let me at least give you an alternative. So, see, is this better or the previous one was better? What do you guys think?
Either is good.
So we good. Keith, what do you think? Either way
I
is
don't know.
fine.
They're both the same for me.
Okay, so I mean, I guess what I'll do is, since I can hear you clearly using earphones, I'm just going to use them for the time being.
Okay.
And oh wow, there are 21 messages on the chat. Let me. Oh wow, okay. So I have to do this as well. Good, sounds good. Headphones, both are fine. Headphones, audio is very similar, both good. Perfect. Okay, that helps. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my screen. Let's start with that. And my guess is all of you should be able to see the screen now. So moving forward, the intent is, let me just go to manage controls. So cannot. Okay, so I don't want this. I don't want. No. Where are the participants? Can I? Oh, I can't show you the participants. Okay, so basically, what I'm trying to do right now, in fact, what I wanted to show you is that when when I'm not sharing my screen and when I managing the meeting, I see all of you on one side of the screen, and essentially your names are there. And if any one of you has any question, there is an option of raising your hand. I was hoping that I would be. Do all of you know where what I'm talking about, or no? And again, I have audience, no chat over here. Allow participants to unmute themselves. Yeah, allow participants.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to repeat myself. So basically, what I said earlier was that if any one of you have any question, you can just I mean, there is an option of raising your hand. Okay, where is? I am not seeing that option. When I go to reaction, no, it's not reactions. Is it? We go to chat, and then now I'm in the chat window, and okay, there's thumbs up, thumbs down, and clap. Wow. Okay, so I don't know why that option is not enabled. It was enabled when I was doing it. Anyway, so moving on. I mean, let's just have this rule that if you have any questions, just I definitely see this button which says yes, which has a tick mark. So if any one of you uses that, I'll just assume that you have a question or something of that sort. So let me start by saying, do you have any questions? I mean, you can either. I actually would prefer that you actually instead of typing it in, you actually ask the question. But in case that is not possible, I would look at the chat as well.
I don't have any questions right now.
No one has any questions? Yes,
How
go
are
ahead.
you?
Can you hear me? Yeah, go ahead. Ask the question. So actually, you're muted. So do I have one?
Oh, it works now. Okay, the host unmuted me, so I couldn't.
So that's what I don't. So let me unmute all of you.
Also, let me know if I have any feedback loops so I can use an earphone or.
No, you're fine so far. Unmute all. So all participants are unmuted. Definitely. Perfect. Now, yeah, go ahead.
What, do you want us to talk or something?
No, essentially, I mean, what I was saying was, if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Oh, all right.
I mean, if there are no questions, then I have a certain plan for the next half an hour or so. So, are there any questions?
Will this lecture be recorded?
No, this lecture actually is not being recorded as of now. But that's a good question. So, if we end up discussing something which is relevant to the course in terms of the lecture content itself, then obviously I would be recording it. But right now, I mean, my intention was that all of us get on board in terms of what is expected in coming days and coming weeks. Because as it seems, I think we're going to be in this for a while, for minimum of 4 weeks. And so I was reading up these reports, and it seems very, very likely that it will go beyond 4 weeks as well. So basically, I mean, let me just share my broad plan, and then you guys have, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. So my plan actually is that from here onwards, I would try my utmost best to actually upload as many lectures as I can before the actual lecture time. So, for example, whatever we were supposed to do today, I've almost uploaded all of it last night. So, going forward, my intention would be that at least 24 hours before the actual class, I will upload the lecture. Or preferably even before that as well. And then when we'll meet for the class, I will only take questions. So my view is that all of you will go through the videos or the lecture. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you want me to explain anything again, I will explain it again using this mode. But most of the content will be uploaded, will not be synchronous. So basically, I will be making videos, I will be uploading them, and then you will go through them. And if you have any questions, I'll be here during class times to answer those questions. Are there any questions regarding how we will proceed in the future?
Professor.
Right. So can you unmute me again? I muted myself. Okay. Unmute all. So going forward, I actually will have the setting of unmuting everyone. I think the default setting is that when the meeting starts, it mutes everyone. So I'm going to change that setting. In future, all of you will be unmute right from the word go.
Professor, how will we take the exam?
Okay, so thank you, John. That's a good question. So for the exam, I actually am considering two different options. One of them will be through my OM lab. One option is that we conduct it on my OM lab, which is the Pearson account. The other option is that we conduct the exam on Titanium. I am more going towards Titanium as of now. The only reason being that I just checked just before this class, and we have a class of 50 people, but on my OM lab we only have 41, which means that there are 9 people who still have not registered for my OM lab for whatever reason. So I guess Titanium is something that at this time I'm more in the favor of conducting an exam on Titanium. The exam will happen at the same time. So basically, our scheduled exam is next Monday, 11:30 to 12:45. So basically, the exam will start at 11:30. It will probably end at 12:45, which means that you will have 1 hour and 15 minutes to go through the exam. But it will be online. Does that answer your question, John?
Yes, it does. And what about quiz number 2 as well?
So question number 2 for the timing is postponed. I mean, let's see if we can get back to it. I wasn't really sure whether it would be wise to have a quiz in today's session or in the session which follows today's session on Wednesday.
Okay.
So for the time being, let's just assume that the quiz is postponed. Once we get settled into this mode of instruction, then we'll get to decide what to do. Quiz number 2.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so I think I've unmuted everyone from my side. If someone is still muted, I think it's because they have muted themselves, which is fine. Any other questions?
Yes, Professor.
Yeah, Go ahead.
This is Sunny, by the way.
Yeah, go ahead, Funny.
My question is in regards to exam number 2. What about the DSS students who get like extended time?
Yeah, so they will get extended time. So basically in our section and in the other section, I have some DSS students. So for those students, what I would say is just email me. Just email me individually, and there is a provision both in Titanium and in my OM lab to have more time for individual students, and that is something that I'll definitely be wary of. So just let me know, and yeah, I mean that is something that I can take care of. That's
Thank you.
That's one of my minor concerns right now. Let me just say that. So
thank you.
You're welcome.
Professor, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
Kevin,
you raised your hand. How did you raise your hand? I mean, I was trying to find that, but
you go participants and then you raise it there.
Yeah,
but my
okay, I think sorry, I don't have an option of raising your hand because I think I probably am you should have the option of raising hand, but I don't see that option. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
My question is, so to clarify, you said review the lecture and content before going on to the online class, and then when we meet, you're only going to take questions?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And I completely understand that basically for that to happen, the lecture should be loaded at least a couple of days before the actual lecture time. So there was a bit of learning curve involved in terms of how to make online lectures, and I think I did mention it in one of the videos that I ordered this. I don't know whether you guys can see this or not. So I have this now. So this basically is a writing pad. So this actually helps me write using this pen, similar to how you write on a whiteboard. So it took me a while to get used to things like this. But now that I'm much more familiar with it, I think I'm going to upload lectures fairly regularly. And I think you should have them at least 24 hours before the actual lecture time. Does that answer your question, Kevin?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. So are there any other questions? So while I wait for the questions, let me log into our course as well, because I wanted to share. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to remove my video because I want to shift to the bigger monitor, because this laptop screen is pretty small. So yeah, perfect. This helps. And perfect. Yeah. So let me share my screen. Screen share. Okay, this helps. This section. You can all see my screen, right?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Okay. So basically, the major changes that I've made is that going forward, every topic that we'll discuss will have this forum inbuilt into it. So the reason this forum is there is because once you go through these video lectures, if you have any questions while you're going through the lecture, or you have gone through the lecture and you still feel that it's something that is needed to be discussed, just go to this forum, and anyone can start a new discussion topic. So for example, you can start any topic which says, how do you solve for multiple resources, something of that sort. And if you can just explain a little bit in detail, and then you can post it to the forum, and then okay, it can't be empty, so let's write the same thing. Or you can just write question number 1, or you can just say let's say Kevin's question. Okay, so Kevin's query, and I think you can attach and post to forum. So this would be here. Obviously, I did not start it. I mean, this one is obviously started by me, but if you have a question, it will show your name. And then people, I mean, I will be looking at it every Monday and Wednesday, and I'll be taking questions from here, and I'll be discussing it in our lecture. But it's not only me who can post it. Any one of you can post questions over here as well. So let me go back. So for all the topics moving forward, so for capacity planning, there's a forum like this over here. The next topic is project management. Again, there's a similar forum, and then going on for all the topics, there is a forum that I've created. So post your questions here. I might be able to answer them relatively quickly. So let's say if you post a question on Friday, I might be able to answer it on Friday or Saturday. If not, I will definitely take the question up on Monday when the class starts. So yeah, I mean that's one thing that I want to discuss. The other one is regarding the lectures itself. I purposely made them downloadable, so you can download them and then you can play them at your convenient speed. I asked my wife for feedback on the lectures. So the first couple of iterations were really bad. So she gave me a lot of feedback that this is not working. So she also takes some online classes. So then, I mean, her latest feedback was that the lecture is too slow. So for that, I mean, my only recommendation is that if you think it is too slow, then you can speed it up using your own playback speeds. But my view is that since I'm writing as well, I don't want to write very fast, because if I start writing fast, then the writing would be really bad. So the speed of the lecture from this point onwards would be what it was. But if you think I'm speaking slowly, or if the lecture is getting too long, you can just speed it up a little bit. It's up to you. But it would be difficult for me to write faster, even though we all know that I do speak faster. So yeah, I mean, any questions? Let me go here, manage participants, and let's just make this big. Oh, not that big. Okay. And where is chat? Are there any questions in the chat? No, there is one question. Okay, so it says, I really like the online lectures because I can rewatch it. Okay, thank you. Thanks. I mean, that was the intent. So I actually never in my life, I thought that I will be doing an online lecture, frankly speaking. So the first time I was doing it, I was like, whoa, what is happening? I mean, but yeah, I mean, now that frankly speaking, I mean, my wife gave me a lot of feedback. So basically, I had to redo my lectures like 3-4 times. But now I think I'm a little bit more comfortable in terms of doing this. So yeah, you can keep them. Just if there's anything that is that I need to explain again, let me know. By the way, this coming back to our discussion on capacity planning, or rather coming back to our discussion on the quiz or the midterm. The next lecture that I will make, I actually will explain the study guide. So, and only, I mean, specific questions from the study guide. Let me just open up the study guide as well. Okay, I have to stop sharing my screen because I need to go to the midterm and I don't want to share the midterm on the screen. So let me just, go here. Okay. Back to Zoom. Share screen, and share. Perfect. So can you all see the study guide?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So, so my plan actually is that now that we have, I mean, now that I've already uploaded the lectures regarding chapter 4, what I intend to do is that the next video that I'll upload, it actually will discuss these 3 problems. How do we get to these answers? So I'm gonna have a small video for this practice problem, and then this one, and then this one. And then after that, my view is that for chapter 4, most of the end of chapter problems are relatively easier. However, if any one of you wants me to make a video regarding how to solve either of any of these questions, let me know, and I'll try to do so before the weekend as well. From this point onwards till next Monday, that is my plan. which basically means that even though we had planned, or the plan was to start the next chapter, that is not something that we will do this week. We will take care of new content only after our midterm. So if I open up our syllabus. Yeah. So basically, ideally today we were supposed to finish or complete our discussion on capacity planning, which is exactly what I've done in terms of the lectures that I've uploaded. And on Wednesday we were supposed to start our discussion on chapter 7. I will hold on, I will not start this chapter on Wednesday. I just wanted to try out a couple of other things as well. So once we are done with our midterm on Monday, then we will start this chapter on March 25th. So so my plan for the days till the midterm is again to upload or to make videos regarding how to solve problems related to chapter 5 and chapter 4. And in between now and March 23rd, if you have any questions, you have those two forums. Feel free to post any questions over there. Or we will be meeting Wednesday at the same class time as well. But I will not start this chapter. I'll just simply take your questions. By that time, I would have. The midterm actually is finalized. I have it printed in my office, but obviously we can't have an in-class midterm exam. So I have to move parts of those or all of that exam online as well. And I would have done that by Wednesday, 18 March. So if you have any questions regarding the midterm itself, I will be in a much better position on Wednesday to answer questions regarding the midterm. Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Regarding class on Wednesday, it will be online also as well, right?
Yeah, so from here onwards, the class. So when you say online, are you talking about synchronous or asynchronous?
I don't understand what those two words mean.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so that's actually a good question. So basically, so what I did yesterday, so when I uploaded the lectures, that is actually a asynchronous class. So because a synchronous class would be what we are having right now, where I basically would expect all of you to be here. And if I would be giving a lecture right now, that would be a synchronous lecture. But since I've already uploaded my lecture yesterday, so that part of the lecture is now asynchronous lecture. Does that help?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, is your question pertaining to will we have a live session on Wednesday? Is that what your question was?
Yes, that was what it was.
Yes. So the answer is yes. There will be a live session on Wednesday. However, the only reason I am holding that session is because I want to take your questions live. As I just said, my next videos would be regarding these. So my next videos will be regarding how to solve these kind of problems. So there are 3 sample problems that I gave you in the study guide. So my next video will be how do we come to these numbers from these 3 problems, right? And then next time when we will meet, if you have any questions either from chapter 5 or from chapter 4 or from chapter 2, feel free to ask, because that would be our last online live meeting before the midterm.
On Wednesday.
On Wednesday, yeah. Same class time. On Wednesday, yes.
Okay.
Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Are there any other questions? So Vittorio says, please make a video. Is that related to, are you suggesting that I should record this lecture, or are you saying that I should just keep on making videos for the lecture? Because my intention going forward is that I'll just keep on making videos and I'll keep on uploading them. And which basically means that, can you unmute us? Sure, yeah. So this, if you can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, so I keep on pressing this, unmute all. So it says all participants are unmuted, but I don't know how do you guys get muted again. So I think if some of you are muted, it's because you have muted yourselves, not me. So I'll press all. It says all participants are unmuted, so you should all be unmuted.
Professor.
Hi.
So will the notes in the lecture you posted, is that the notes and then this is just for like questions we have?
Yes.
Yes, that is my plan.
Okay.
So and I'll take questions in two forms. I sincerely hope that most of the questions will come to us through these forums. So there is a reason why I created these forums. So my view is, so let's say you're watching this video lecture, let's say at 10 p.m. and you have questions, right?
Right.
Rather than you waiting till the live session to ask me questions, why not just post the questions here?
Right.
I will read them and I will either answer them on the forum itself, or if I feel that it requires a long discussion, then I'll take the question on whenever the next session is. So if you post it, let's say on Friday, and the next session is on Monday, I will take up your question on Monday.
Okay.
Professor?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to hear you. I think your microphone is going like moving and it keeps going in and out.
Oh,
And I
okay.
know another student said the same thing.
Okay, so let me see.
Is
this
anyone
right?
else experiencing that?
Yeah, I'm experiencing that.
Yeah, me too.
It's just very like loud and then quiet and then loud and then quiet.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess it's because I'm using these earphones. So I have ordered another microphone, which is very similar to the kind of microphone we have in class. So that is, it will, but maybe I should get a one which is which has a fixed microphone right in front of the mouth. I think I'll order that, because the one that I ordered and the one that we actually have in classes is the one that you put on your either on your shirt or on your collar. But that will probably have the same problem, because when I'll move, the sound will go up and down. So right now what I'm doing is, if I show you, let me show you what I'm doing. Okay, manage controls, my. Does this help?
It's 12 o'clock.
Hello?
Hello?
Does this help?
Yep.
Is the voice still going up and down, or no? Is it slightly better?
It sounds consistent.
It sounds better, yeah.
Fair enough. So yeah, so basically the idea is that I should have something which is permanent, which should be in front of my mouth. Let me order it, and I think it will take a couple of days to come in. So I think that should take care of it. Okay, other questions?
What are the answers to the midterm?
What are the answers to the midterm? Sonny, that is a good question. Yeah, I mean, I can post them as soon as you are done with the midterm. So yeah. So one thing that I said towards the end of my second video lecture is that, I mean, since these are extraordinary times, so obviously, I mean, we have to take that into consideration as well. So the exam will be, I mean, at least my intention is to make it significantly easier than what we have done in the past. I hope you guys feel the same as well, but I don't know. I mean, I will not be the one who will be giving the exam. So from my side, I'll try to make it an easy exam, but I have been wrong in the past. So I hope that is not the case this time.
Professor?
So just a second, sorry. So then one question is, how much time do we have? So you'll have 1 hour and 15 minutes the entire class time. I can give you more time as well, but my guess is that you will have back-to-back classes. So which means that you'll have to take the entire midterm during that hour and 15 minutes, which is 75 minutes. So Jacob, you have written something, but I just see two squares. Maybe it's an
emoji, Professor.
Oh, it's an emoji. Okay, perfect. So I think maybe you have a Mac or something, because I think there is some interface issues between Macs and Windows-based machines. So I hope it's not a angry emoji or something, but if it is, then yeah, I mean, good for you. So I can't unmute myself again. Yeah, unmute all. I don't know how this works though. So I as I said, I mean, my trial runs have been on my wife predominantly. So I just it was a meeting between me and her, and I asked her to sit in the second room. So basically, this problem of unmuting was not there. So I don't know why it's happening. Let me read up on it a little bit. So John actually has raised his hands. Yes, John.
Oh, you answered my question. Thank you.
Okay, so I lowered your hand and screenshot. Okay, so Anne is.
It's a screenshot on how you can unmute yourself, like the options that you have on like when watching you.
Oh, okay. So it's not for me. It's for other participants.
No, yeah, it's for the rest of us. If like
Okay.
you unmute yourself or you mute yourself, you can. You have the option in the bottom left-hand corner where it says mute or start video.
That's what I thought as well. Yeah. So
You
something like
have
this, right?
You have that, but when I was trying to do it, it said the professor locked us from unmuting ourselves.
Yeah, you can't unmute yourself. Like for example, if you go to the restroom or whatever you're doing, if you come back to try to unmute, it won't let you.
Oh, so if you mute yourself again and then if you want to unmute it, will okay, fair enough. So let me see where that option is, and I'll give the option to you to the participants in terms of whenever you want to mute yourself or unmute yourself. Next time when we'll meet, you'll have that option. If that option exists, my guess is that option should be there.
Mm.
Okay, so there are a couple of questions. I know this is for all of us, and we appreciate. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Jacob. I don't have the issue. Perfect. Then that's great if you don't have the issue. I mean, there might be some.
Hector, you're lucky.
Yeah. I mean, there might be some small differences between Windows platforms and Mac platforms, Apple platforms. But anyway, that's something that we'll, I guess we'll know in a couple of iterations. So yeah, I mean, are there any other questions?
Right now.
Perfect. Okay.
Professor.
So we have a midterm Monday, and then we go over the material beforehand, and then every Monday, Wednesday, we'll go over questions together, and then we have forums to ask questions, right?
Yes, yeah. And the length of each session is dependent on how many questions are there, right? So if there are no questions, then obviously there will be no session. How would I know whether there are questions or not? As I said, I mean, if there are no questions over here, I would still be here. I mean, during our class times. I mean, my view was that in a class of 50 people, maybe. So there are some students who approached me and said that it might not be possible for them to be there in a live session because they don't have internet access, etc., etc. So I'm wary of those constraints as well, and that's why I'm more and more going in the direction of having asynchronous lectures, which means that making videos, uploading them, and then for our live sessions, only taking questions. I mean, even if you see right now, the participants, including myself, are 42. We have a class of 50 people, so there are 8 people who are missing. I don't know why they're missing, but they are. I mean, which is pretty similar to the attendance that we have in our class as well. Mm-hmm. And but having said that, so for example, if a person wanted to be here but could not be here because of not having internet during this time, then yeah, I have to make some accommodations for those people as well, right? So that's why I'm moving more and more in the direction of making videos, uploading them, and then only taking your questions. Does that answer your question? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So one question is, how many math problems are there in the test? I think it's a healthy balance between math problems and theory problems. I think the online test maybe will have more math problems than theory problems. The original test, which we were supposed to have in class, had 30 questions. And I think 17 were problems, 13 were theory. I think this one, the online one, probably will have significantly less questions than 30, maybe 22, 23. And most of them probably will be problem-based. Maybe 5, 6, which are theory. So the next question is, can we take the midterm in a certain allotted period of time or only during class hours? Yeah, so ideally, I would want you to take the quiz within the allotted class hours, so that everyone takes a quiz at the same time. I understand that this is not how online classes are run, but then the exams that are designed for those sessions are very different from the sort of exam that I had in mind. I mean, if I were teaching a complete online course, I probably have done something similar. But in this scenario, the expectation is that the normal mode of operation was that we will have the class at a allocated time, and that is my intent going forward as well. Yeah, I mean, I don't think so. I will allow people to take the exam whenever they want to take it. Maybe what would happen is that if the exam is, let's say, 75 minutes, the total amount of time in which they can take the exam is 3 hours. So to explain what I'm saying is, let's assume that the exam is 60 minutes. Now, the exam will open up at, let's say, 11:30, will close at 12:30. That is the most strict kind of format. And I think what will most likely happen is the exam will probably open at, let's say, 11:30, but will remain open for the next 2 hours or 2.5 hours. So you can start the exam anytime within those 2 to 2.5 hours. But once you start the exam, you have to finish it in 60 minutes. So there is some flexibility, but not as much flexibility as Sony is saying, that you can take it whenever you want in a week. Yeah, I don't think so. I'll be comfortable doing that. Does that? Do I need to explain any more regarding the format, or are we good?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Perfect. Any other questions? So I have this comment. Thank you. So thank you. Yeah, thank you to you as well. Let me say thank you. Thank you. I don't know. Yes, go ahead.
So the chapter regarding capacity planning, are
Yeah.
you done with that? And then on Wednesday, you'll be taking questions regarding the chapter about project management?
So the first part of your question is correct. Yes, I've gone through all the slides which are related to chapter 4, capacity planning, which is something that I'm hovering my mouse over right now. On Wednesday, I will not take questions regarding project management. On Wednesday, I will only take questions regarding the midterm. So basically, if you have any question regarding chapter 2, which is process strategy analysis, or chapter 5, or chapter 4, those are the questions that I'll take on Wednesday. So basically, you can think of Wednesday's session as a review session. So any question that you have regarding the midterm, I will take those questions on Wednesday. We will only start I think chapter 7 is project management. We will only start this chapter once we are done with our midterm. So basically, next Wednesday we'll start project management, not this Wednesday. This Wednesday is a review session for our midterm.
Thank you.
Any other questions? So I don't see any questions in the chat window or any questions from your side. So just to summarize, I mean, before we call it a day, I will again upload videos regarding the 3 sample problems that I gave in the study guide, and then I will just wait for your questions on the forums itself. If there are any technical issues that you face in terms of posting questions on the forum, let me know. I'll try to address them as soon as possible. And yeah, I mean, if there are no more questions, then I'll probably see you on Wednesday.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Sounds
Okay,
good.
then yeah, be safe. Please remain indoors. And I will see you on Wednesday, guys.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Professor.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.